Hey everybody, Dave here, and I want to send you a quick video message to discuss some of the grading that's been taking place, some of the course policies, and any assignments that are coming up. And that's where I'm going to start. The assignment that is due tomorrow is the exercise fitness program assignment. So what your your intentions are for the quarter four as far as your exercise plan, and that's something that's going to probably evolve throughout the term. It's actually pretty quick for me to grade, so I'll probably give you a pretty general comment, unless I see something just kind of out of the ordinary or striking that I just question. But for the most part, those are pretty easy for me to grade and review and give you some brief feedback. But because they're your programs, so as long as they're meeting the ACSM criterion for cardio and weights and flexibility, um, then they're solid, I'm sure. The biggest thing is, are they going to achieve your goals? And so if I see like your goal is to improve your mile from a 17-minute walking mile to an 8-minute running mile, and your program says I'm going to walk the dog 3 days a week, that's not going to get you to that 8-minute mile, just so you know. So any inconsistencies I will probably highlight. As far as last week's assignment, the pre-assessment evaluation, what I noticed on there was, as I read over my notes, many of you discussed your long-term goals, and that's kind of where I want you to start. What are your exercise intentions? There's two variables that are really important to successful implementation of a fitness plan, we'll say. And that is, your plan it has got to be social. So at what point of your plan is there a social element? Are you exercising with somebody? Are you doing your assessments with somebody? Or are you doing this entirely alone? Would you prefer to work out with somebody? Personally, I run a lot. Most of my running is alone. I love running with people, but that's not always the case. The majority of my miles that I accumulate are alone. But I look forward to racing because I get to be around thousands of people, and the payoff of all my hard work comes on race day. So, even at the ripe young age of 42, I still enjoy racing and getting out there and being part of a larger field. So what are your post-assessment goals? How do you look at your pre-assessment evaluation and kind of what your vision is for the course? That's something that you're going to want to consider when you're writing down your actual fitness program that's due tomorrow. In regards to that assignment that was due last week, the pre-assessment evaluation, the scoring is always going to look like this. You're going to get a 0 for not turning something in. You're going to get a 5 for really just incomplete work or just incomplete effort. A 9 for something that you can upgrade to a 10, and a 10 is perfect. The 5s can't be fixed. Those are ones that I'm going to give you feedback, but they were so terrible that you're not going to be able to do them again. So moving forward, if you get a 5, just note that's a strike. If you get a 9 and you don't fix it, you're going to have a couple of days to fix your 9s into a 10. And if you don't fix your 9, that one is also a strike. And you can only get 3 of those in a quarter, and the 4th one, you're out. So how would you like to go home for the holidays and tell your family you failed a PE class? Not cool. So don't do it. This class, there's a lot of work at the front, man. At the beginning of our quarter, there's a lot of assessments and just content. I mean, I look at our Canvas page and it's like, where do I begin? But just go in a stepwise manner, specifically targeting due dates. If you see a due date, then you got to kind of stick around that little module a little bit longer and figure out what task you need to complete. Looking at the syllabus does discuss our grading a little bit further on page 8. It breaks down the 0, the 5, and 9, and 10, and what exactly I'm looking for a little bit. I did also want to address, I receive notifications on a lot of things in Canvas. So if there's a comment you make in, and I'm just going to actually move my camera so you can see this. So let's say right here you're looking at the comment section. So when I grade something, I will provide a comment right here, and in that little section, if you write a comment like something like I did the assignment, or it's done, or my name is blah, I receive a notification via email. So I get emails telling me that your name is something, even though your name is above that. I didn't want to show whose student I was using the example of, but excuse me, essentially, I don't need to know your name because I already know it. and I don't need to know that it's done because I can see the assignment. So unless it's dire, unless it's something I need to know, you don't need to write in the assignment comments. Everything that you are communicating with me in that assignment comments should really be on your actual assignment. And that assignment should be uploaded timely, so on time. That assignment comments is typically for instructor to provide you with some necessary information. And if we're looking for correspondence, we'll generally ask you a question. And you're always welcome to kind of reply to any comments that I make. But if I have 115 students each term, every single assignment telling me they're done with an assignment, holy smokes, my inbox and my email is going to be absurd. So I did want to address that. You don't have to tell me when you're done with an assignment because it actually pops up and lets me know that an assignment has been submitted. So the last comment I want to make around your assignments is coming up on the assignment that's due tomorrow, the Exercise Fitness Program Assignment 2.2. There is a target heart rate assessment in there. So for all of your cardiovascular work, there is something called a target heart rate that you should know. Like what level of exertion, what level of intensity are you working out at? And that is important. I mean, like if you want to improve your cardiovascular endurance, if you want to improve your cardiovascular health, you're going to have to work. And so in doing so, you can think of it as like if you're like a musician, if you like to jam out on the guitar or the piano, and you kind of immerse yourself really for like 90 minutes and the time just flies right on by and you don't realize how much you've played and practiced. It's very similar with cardiovascular, except one way to actually measure the depth of which you are, I'll say, exploring cardiovascular exercise is heart rate. So when you're taking a heart rate, it should be, when you're exercising, between about 120 to about 170, both ends plus or minus 10 beats per minute. So when you take your heart rate, it should be between 110 and 170, we'll say. So when you're completing that equation, it should be, again, somewhere between 110 and 170. You could also use something called the target, or the RPE. That is what's the RPE? It is the rate of perceived exertion. It's called the Karvonen. The Karvonen method gets you the equation, but the RPE is basically a scale. 6 to 20 on what degree of intensity you're exercising at. So if you're at a 6, you're resting. Right now if I took a heart rate, I'm probably at 6, and if I put a 0 on the end of that, that's probably my number of beats in a minute. Just like if you're at a 12, and if you're walking around school, kind of rushing into class, you could say that maybe you're a 9 to 12 as far as your exercise intensity. Not to say that you would document walking to class, but the idea there is to document mentally where you're at, so that when you're exerting yourself, you can start to connect your actual heart rate with an RPE, so that you don't always have to take your heart rate, because that can be kind of inconvenient to do that a few times in a session. In fact, I can't remember the last time I actually took my heart rate during a cardiovascular bout. I usually take it after, and I can maybe tell you why that is on another video message, because this one is over 8 minutes, man. My bad. So if you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out via Canvas. In fact, I see a lot of messages, I'm sure have been there since Wednesday, that I need to tend to. So I'm going to get on that today, and you should be hearing from me very shortly. Take care. Bye-bye.